I'm Ken and you're watching Kilt Can Cook, the Scottish cooking channel that encourages young men and women to have confidence and competence they need to conquer the kitchen. Today I know I promised you a German dish, but I forgot it's the holidays. So we're going to make a holiday dish. We're going to make chocolate chip pumpkin spice cookies with a Sara Crocker recipe. Now I know a lot of people think pumpkin spice is the best, some think it's the worst. Me, I fall somewhere in the middle. I think it's tasty if done right. So I'm going to show you how to make cookies that are done right. Let's be about it, shall we?
So the difference between an American cookie and a Scottish biscuit is simple. A Scottish biscuit is crumbly and usually not ooey, gooey and chewy, whereas a good American cookie is all those things. If you like your cookie to break off, then, well, frankly, you were raised poorly. Alright, we're going to follow the recipe and put our cooker to 375. Now we're going to pop our butter, which had been in the fridge, into the microwave for 10 seconds. We want it to be soft, but we don't want it melted. Alright, fine line. Get a large mixing bowl and empty the contents of the mix into the bowl. Just like so. Good. Now we're going to combine all the rest of our ingredients. Our 2 tablespoons of water, our egg, which... I let a piece of shell get in there. That was sloppy of me. Be careful with that. And then our softened butter. Remember, it's supposed to be softened, not melted. Big difference. We're also going to add our extra nutmeg and cinnamon at this time. Very good. Now we're going to mix it all together. I'm going to use a tatty masher, but you can use a spoon if you've got one. You know, it's a bit tough to do by hand, because it takes a long time and you've got to remember to remove all that excess batter with the spatula. You know what? I forgot something that's vitally important to this whole process. I can't believe I did that. That's right, I had a stand-in blender this whole time. I wish I remembered that before I wasted a lot of time, which I've edited out for time purposes. Well, anyway, insert the proper mixers and turn it on after the mixers are into the batter. I didn't have one of those nice fancy blenders with a bowl of meat on its own, so I've got to use a spatula to get the dry ingredient to mix with my wet ingredients. It's a wee bit of a hassle, I'll not lie to you, but it is worth it for a well-blended, tasty cookie. And remember, everything is blended when it all looks wet and nice and orange, as opposed to that kind of sandy colour we had when we first emptied the mix into the bowl, if you remember that. Now, we're going to take our spatula and, as you can see, it's accrued quite a bit of excess to it. So we're going to get a spoon. I'm just going to scrape all that off back into the bowl, and then scrape what was on the spoon into the bowl too. And we're going to add a big old handful of chocolate chip cookies. Remember, unless you're a fatty, there's no such thing as too much of a good thing. Alright, and once you're done your blending, everything looks like it's nice and blended together. We're going to stop the process, pop it out of the mixture, the batter itself, unplug our blender, and we're going to pop out our mixers. You can set this aside for your wains, or for yourself, depending, doesn't matter. Cookie dough is delicious tea by itself. Now we're going to use a pan. Let's see, it's supposed to be 2 inches apart with a large amount of batter. That's fine. Alright, so drop them on. And, is that 2 inches? Let's be sure. Aye, that's 2 inches. Perfect. Good to know. Alright, so, let's make sure all of our edges are 2 inches long. Here we go. Alright, so, I like big cookies, so I think a large amount of batter would be appropriate here, don't you? And it looks like it's going to be 8 cookies per sheet. That's fine. We're going to let that cook for about 10 minutes. And while that's going, I'm going to finish off the rest of my batter. Looks like it's going to be enough for 14 cookies total. Okay, after 10 minutes are up, we're going to pull out our first pan. And we're going to slide in our second pan. And then after another 10 minutes are up, we're going to pull that out and let it sit for a minute so that it cools a wee bit. So that some of that cookie just settles. And we're going to take it up and put it onto a plate. Now, I already used this plate, so that's not grease, that's condensation. Don't worry about that. But a nice hot cookie has a lot of water still in it. Oh, and doesn't that just look delicious? Oh, I want to eat it right now. I'm looking at the screen just like you are. I love a good cookie. Who doesn't it? Communists, that's who.
Well, that's our show. Hope you enjoyed yourself and I hope you learned something. Specifically, I hope you learned that just because the recipe calls for something doesn't mean you have to follow the recipe. Especially if not following the recipe results in a tastier cookie. In the meantime, you're watching Kilt Can Cook, the Scottish cooking channel that encourages young men and women to have the confidence and competence they need to conquer the kitchen. Now, if you excuse me. I need to find a glass of milk. It's really good. I don't have enough cookies.